tying in that with the team concept, I want to pull on this string a little bit more and segue just a little bit, it's always been very difficult with individual contributors saying, you help us make money, you matter in this way, you do that way, versus we're really seeing the Generation Z, we talk a lot about, they like to work in teams. I was just having a conversation with my 11-year-old saying, how do we get more middle schoolers involved in this activity? He's like, well, let me do it with my 3 best friends. We're going to put together a company. We'll enter the competition. And they love doing things together. And they're more team sports oriented versus individual sports oriented. We'll use that analogy. So when you're working together as a team, is it easier for the business to say, all right, as a team, here's how you can contribute. Now, help us figure out how to be better. Versus you yourself, me standing in a corner trying to think of how do I make this business better?
Yeah, I think it's both. Do you remember, I feel like we're totally going to date ourselves. Remember when Gallup released their survey like 20 years ago about an employee experience? And there was a question that was a little bit controversial. And it asked people, do you feel like you have a best friend at work?
Oh, it's still controversial.
It's still controversial.
Define a best friend.
Yeah, but I think to your point of your 11-year-old, it's like your 11-year-old wants to work with their best friend. They like their best friend, right? Like I feel comfortable with my best friend. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier too, Kristen, is I think the human nature of us is we want a sense of belonging. And so I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of defining the Gallup question and what does a best friend mean, but I think that's a really important question. Can we just, do I feel like I have a friend at work, or do I feel like I have someone that I can trust that values me? Do I have a partner? Whatever word you want to use there, right? So that we don't debate this for the next 45 minutes. It's like, that is so important, because if I feel like I have someone that believes in me at work, whether that be a peer, my manager, a skip level, heaven forbid it was one of each, right? Then I feel like I can go to work and show my individual capabilities, my individual skill sets. And Kristen, you know what happens? If I make a mistake, I feel supported. And so individually, I do believe we all need to shine because we're individual people that bring unique skill set capabilities and all that to work. But we've got to do that like in the sphere of this collective team. I was a swimmer in college. And so I always think about swimming. It's a very individual sport, right? I go run my race or swim my race and compete. And then at the end of the day, I get to get out of the pool and get a hug from my teammates. And then collectively, we're on the reader board together. And I think that businesses, if we can have individual lanes that are a part of a bigger team, that's super powerful.